have seen the more we put into community events, it seems like the more we get back. So we really do very little marketing and advertising outside of that. So we've really found from a business standpoint too that there's been a tremendous relationship with how much we give back to the community and how much the community gives back to us. And we say we're incredibly fortunate for what the community gives to us as well. So I wouldn't put us up on a pedestal very high because we get it back from the community just as much, and it's been really a great way to do business. And I mentioned Kurt and Judy, nice people, finished first. And I know when I was in college, I'm sorry I'm dating myself here, but Wall Street was on, and Gordon Gekko said, "Greed is good." And there was this big, like, this is what business is about. And then I came into a business like this, and I was like, this is not Gordon Gekko. This is Minnesota. Right? And it's successful.
Yeah.
And it's been a really cool way to kind of see that develop into a successful business as well.
Absolutely. And the last question I have is, the question I did have is kind of if you had a succession plan moving forward, but you already addressed that pretty well, which is really cool. So I kind of put a spin on this. So long-term vision, 10, 20 years in the future, where do you see Playmakers as a company? Do you see it kind of staying in the current role in the community, expanding its role? Kind of what's your dream for this company?
Yeah, I guess I'm big on milestones, and we're in 37 years of business, and it's like, I think it's just really cool that it's like, let's celebrate 40 and then 45 and 50 and just keep this going, and we need at some point we're going to see it, to have this be a business that's been in the community for just ongoing, and we continue to hit those milestones and be able to adapt to what's happening in the community, and how we can be a part of that. We're real fortunate that it's a healthy business, and sometimes you look at it, it's like Saturday, we really sell that many shoes? It's like, that takes a lot of work and orchestration, and Anna can tell you, the numbers from like that sale, it's mind-boggling. But it's just that logistics, and I think if we just continue to turn ourselves inside out, how can we be the best business possible that's relevant today? We'll continue to evolve forward, but things are happening, changing a lot faster outside this building than we can even imagine. And I think at least personally, I'm kind of enamored with the Ubers and the Airbnbs and the Googles and the Facebooks, that it's totally disrupt the way that we were used to doing business. And I think we've got to continue to kind of put that mindset in our building too. We can't rest on our laurels. We can't keep doing things the same way and expect different results.
I don't know where we'll be 10 or 20 years from now. I hope that this is intact, and we're going to fight for that. But what other opportunities come that make sense to us? I'm not so sure. What I do hope stays intact is leading ethically, thoughtfully, and then some of the things that we talked about before in terms of those three pillars about being a great place to shop and visit and to be a part of the community. If other opportunities presented itself and it made sense and we can keep those core values in place, then who knows where we might evolve into. But we wouldn't want to give up those core values that are part of it. Making sure that we're in alignment as three owners, and then identifying what that is and applying opportunities to that, I think is really important. Playmakers coffee shop, laundromat.
We kind of know what our core competency is, and we'll probably continue to be in that neighborhood. But we continue to look at opportunities. We say no to a lot of things. I think that's probably a sign of a good business, is you have to say no to a lot of things, or you get yourselves in trouble. So,
the opportunities don't always mean it's the right opportunity. As Brian said, you've got to apply what your core values are and make your decisions around it. And saying no a lot is probably the right thing to do.
Okay. We're kind of moving into the teamwork stuff, which you guys have hit on a lot. We were just wondering, teamwork is mentioned in your business philosophy, and you've talked about it a lot today. How do you actually define teamwork, and how do you support this environment both among your staff and in the community?
Yeah, I think what we've gotten to be good at is recognizing, and I think this colors piece really helps when we have people dial in on what they're good at and where their traits are, that we can complement each other, and we move the business forward a lot better than when we're all in our best. And when we know what we're best at, and when the rest of our team knows what we're best at, we accept those roles, and certainly we accomplish a lot more when we have the complementary strengths around us. And I think that's something that has evolved probably more in the last 10 years than maybe the 20 years ago. And even with these New Balance stores, and not to get off on a tangent, that group, it's taking longer down there because we're not down there all the time, but that's something that we're really stressing. We have 3 different store managers and different personalities, and it's a smaller organization, smaller stores, but it's just so critical. And we were just, 2 of us were just at a conference, and Marcus Cunningham spoke. You can get in your area of strength and just work that, you're going to do the most positive and the most good for an organization. But on the other side of that, you have to complement yourself with people that'll fill the gaps. Because I think that's one thing too, we realize it's really hard. There's no perfect employee, there's no perfect person. We all have these deficiencies, and to be a great team, and we use a lot of sports analogies too. Michigan State down the road, it's pretty cool to see D'Antonio and Izzo and Hollis and Lou and Simon supporting the athletic programs and all the great things they're accomplishing down there. Sometimes we piggyback on some of the things that they're doing down there as well. I think D'Antonio's reach higher has come up in the last 6 months, in our building a couple times.
I think teamwork, maybe stealing one of the habits from Stephen Covey, is synergy. 1 + 1 = 3. That if people working individually are not going to accomplish as much as 2 together. So 1 + 1 = 3. That's assuming, though, that you've set the right environment for that to happen, and that there's a mutual respect for the people you're working with and what they can bring to the table. When that happens, you tend to get more out of it. So I think we work a lot in teams. We do very little individually. I think we reward people who can work with others as opposed to individuals that can knock out a lot of things. And certainly got both.
I'd say we're a pretty humble organization. We really don't allow any egos to take over in this building. And that's probably a tricky thing. Sometimes you get some people that are really bright, and sometimes they're just, it's too much about them. And it's never really worked well in our environment.
And that's why that colors thing, understanding people's personality types, is such an important part of that synergy, is because we talk about creating that environment of working together. And it's easier when you understand who you're working with and what their strengths are, maybe what some of their weaknesses are, and we're all on the same page. So I think creating those team situations are important.
Thank you. So our next question is, what intentional decisions have you made to build the team camaraderie among your employees? I think you've already talked about a number of things, the Covey kind of paradigm, the colors, the retreats, and the food. I'm really interested in the food. Anna brought food. Anna knows the power of food. I'm interested in how you came to the point where you are investing so much of your employees' time and sending them on these retreats, and then also the food. If you can explain that to me.
Listen about the food. Maybe one of the best. I'm sorry, I forgot what the original question was, but I know.
How do you intentionally stimulate camaraderie and teamwork?
I think one of the cool things, though, is we have attracted really great people, positive, upbeat, interesting, doing a lot of great things, and put them in the break room together with food.
Yeah.
And there's this awesome camaraderie that happens. So I wish we could take advantage of, or take a lot of credit for it. But our staff really, they just do it amongst themselves because they're really great people. So maybe what you need, maybe where we get a little credit is hopefully we attract and hire great people that fit in. And that's a lot of the discussion we talk about. Can this person sell a shoe? Sure. Are they going to connect with our culture and what we're trying to do is an important question we ask when we bring somebody in.
How much time do you think, with the retreats? I think that's fairly unique, especially with a for-profit business. Walk us through how you decided to invest in your employees in that way.
Yes, I think it really came from Kurt and Judy. He did that, and then he wanted to formalize it. I think that's where Tom came in and said, "I'll run with this. This is something that I really like, and I can be good at." And again, that was getting back to this teamwork. If we all wanted to do that, it probably wouldn't work out that well. It's kind of the beauty of it. The more you talk to people, it's like, well, that's what they like to do, so they're going to spend more time on that. And then when you can allow that to happen, really good things come from that. But yeah, Tom just did a nice job of running with that when Kurt made that. Kurt is really good at getting something started, but in terms of keeping it going, he'll tend to struggle. But which is, more somebody that's more entrepreneurial like that. But I think the other side he was really good at is saying, well, I'm willing to put the resources in place and make this happen, and make the investment. And then you find the right person, and then they build it out and make it part of the culture. It's part of the culture.
So really, it's an easy job, right? I'm just basically a travel agent. I'm setting up these trips and taking people there, and we're chatting a little bit. But when I get back, when we were doing this originally, Kurt would say, "What did that cost us?" And my answer better be nothing, because when they come back, when this group comes back, they're going to be more connected to what we're doing, more engaged in the business, and they're more committed to what they're doing. But if you have a retreat, which there's been early, I think we have a really dialed in now. There are some early ones where it's like, I don't know, I think that one cost us some money. You got to come back with this connection piece that we're looking for. And I think we have that dialed in. We come back now with a lot of initiatives that we say in the next 6 months, here's what we want to try to accomplish, and we see most of those getting done as well. So I think that's really an important piece as well. But is there a cost to it? Hopefully not.